And this is one of those weeks where I want to bring forward yet another, can you really believe this is how the federal government is spending your money? Now, I am told by my younger staff that there's a new word around called hangry. I didn't know what that was, but hangry, as we've looked into this, means that if you are hungry, you tend to get a little bit disjointed and you're more angry than you were if you're not hungry. I suppose that's something easily we could prove by all of us, just think, well, what is our disposition when we're hungry? Are we a little more tense, or are we a little more, we're a little quicker trigger in terms of getting upset with what someone may say to us or something like that, a little more irritable. And so this new generation has taken this condition called hangry, hanger, and turned it into hangry, which means that you're hungry. So none other than the National Science Foundation said, well, we better find out whether or not this is true. And so they issued a $331,000 grant for researchers to study whether or not hanger actually occurs. So if you get hungry, do you end up feeling hangry? I think I've got that right. That was the question. So for $331,000, the researchers issued a grant for the study of married couples, and they wanted to determine, first of all, they said, well, okay, we want to get to the point where you're hungry. And then to test whether or not you're hungry, they came up with this idea. Listen, you can't make this stuff up. They came up with the idea of giving each spouse a voodoo doll. And if they felt that they were hangry because they were hungry, they said, take a pin and stick it into the voodoo doll. And at the end of the experiment, we'll see whether it's this wife or the husband that has the most pins stuck in their own voodoo doll. They each had their own voodoo doll. Like I said, you can't make this stuff up. It only costs $331,000. So whenever their spouse made the other spouse angry, that other spouse grabbed their voodoo doll, grabbed a pin, and stuck it in. And the conclusion was that after 3 years study and $331,000 spent, yep, we proved it. Hangry occurs when you're hungry. Now, there's some pages here that are trying to hold back their laughter. I see a lot of smiles on the faces of the people in this chamber saying, surely this can't be true. Surely you made this up. Surely you're just coming down here as a spoof to try to prove a point. This actually happened, folks. This actually happened. And the serious part of it is that the taxpayer paid for it. Now, at a time when we're trying to repair roads and bridges, when we're trying to put money forward for healthcare research, when we're dealing with all kinds of terrorist issues and we want to make sure our national security is strong, when our military is underfunded, when we're trying to deal with the issues of the day, we are taking this money, and of all things, the National Science Foundation, when you mention National Science Foundation, people think, well, this is serious stuff. I don't know how much of this stuff they do, but there it is. And so we take the $331,000 and add it to our ever-growing accumulation of documented waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars, and we now have risen to a position of $157,591,000,000 and change. It's not small stuff. It adds up. And this is what your federal government is doing, and we wonder why the American people are frustrated. We wonder why they are angry when they hear issues like this. I'm not trying to stoke that issue and make the American people more hangry. I'm simply trying to expose this so that we will be so embarrassed with these kinds of things, people will come down to this chamber here and offer legislation to clean up some of this stuff.